So the schedule of what we're going to do today is first I'm going to show you what the project is. Then we're going to do the discussion on those questions I gave you. So you should have already prepared your answers. And then we will do the vocabulary activity. And you will get a chance to sign up for doing these activities as you're going to be the leaders. The project that we're doing in this Reading, Writing, Grammar 5 class is called a reading discussion project. And what the students will be doing is they're responsible for leading a discussion of their peers, and they have to create the questions based on a novel that we're reading called My Freshman Year, which is a traditional novel that you can buy in a bookstore. And so the students read a chapter and they make the questions. Then they come to class after I've checked their questions, and they lead the discussion with a group, a small group, or they could do a whole class. So today I'm going to be the leader, and I'm going to introduce it to you, and next time you're going to be the leaders. Okay, so let me give you the directions, and we'll go through them together. Okay, so take one. For this particular project, I really want to see, a lot of things from the students, and particularly, I really want to see them making better questions and higher order thinking questions. I want them to work together with their classmates, which in some ways that's a challenge. I want them to be able to interact with each other and to think about what they read and be able to apply it to their own situation or their own experience. I also would like to see, I'd like them to build their creativity in making different types of tasks for the vocabulary section. I'd like them to communicate with a team and be able to split up the tasks evenly so that it's not just one person doing it. So by doing all of those preparation work and in-class components of this project, they will have more confidence and be able to feel successful in doing all of those things. All right. So if you look at the directions at the top of the paper, this is called the Reading Discussion Project. And for the Reading Discussion Project, you're going to read the chapters in the book. And the book is My Freshman Year, the book we've been reading. And each week on Thursday, I think our paper says Friday. On Thursday, you are going to be responsible for being the leader. Okay? Okay, so when you're the leader of one or two parts, you have to prepare the activity for the whole class on that day. Okay? So the first leader job will be a discussion leader. Okay, so if you look at the second paragraph where it says, you will work in a group of 3 to write 8 discussion questions for the chapter of the book that we are reading during that week. Okay, so that's the first job. So now look down where it says discussion questions. Okay, so if you are the discussion leader, you need to create with your group of 3 8 questions, at least 8 questions. Okay, and these questions have to review the chapter material and also engage your classmates in thinking about how does this relate to my own experience? What's your personal experience? Or what do you think about when you think about this chapter? In the past, I've had groups that work really well together, and I've learned a lot from doing this project. Some of the things that I've learned are that the groups are very different, and you can't ask them always you can't expect the same results, and sometimes the students will surprise you. I've had students who take leadership in the group and domineer the whole group, but when they do get to the classroom and have to be the only leader in their group, then they realize, oh, I needed to prepare more. These questions, I don't even know the answers to these questions. And then you find out the weaknesses of your students that way. So the deadline for the questions is the important date to remember. Okay, so when you are assigned to a group, your group has to get together on Monday of the week that you're discussing. So if you're going to do your discussion leading on Thursday of next week, then you need to get together with your group on Monday, ask the questions, write down 8 questions on chapter 2. Okay, so on the next chapter. So you'll need to read the chapter during the weekend or before class on Monday and make the questions. Okay, when you have the questions, what does it say for you to do? When you write your questions, what should you do with those questions? What?
Questions should be submitted to the teacher.
Yes. So how are you going to submit them to the teacher?
After class, by email.
Email. Okay. So send them to me before the next class. Thank you, Mohammed. And other things that I found that worked really well in the beginning of this project are if you get together with the groups that are preparing the questions. It takes more time as a teacher, but for the teacher, talking to the group as they work together to make questions, you find out that they are either strong or weak in making questions. So one of the things I will do next week as I prepare the first group is I will teach them how to make higher order thinking questions and how to ask good questions that don't just have a very short answer, but that require them to share more personal experiences and more thought in connecting with the reading. All right, so at this point, we're going to come back to the next part later, but right now, I want to get you guys into discussion groups so we can practice that. Okay? So I've already decided your groups. Okay, so group number 1 is Golf, Jae-young, Kelly, Ing, and Paul. Okay, so you guys, why don't you come over to this side here? Okay, group number 2 in the middle. No, you don't need to write down things. You can write keywords if they will help you. Remember, you're thinking about this for reviewing the book, and you're also using this to study for the quiz. Okay? So the more involved you get in, the discussion of thinking about all the topics, the better.
The cultural anthropologist is a researcher who studies society and culture of human beings. It's my opinion.
I think here the culture what's that word?
Anthropologist.
Anthropologist. I think that means it's from the book or not the dictionary. So we need to find an answer for the.
Okay.
So you guys have any idea?
So you pick up the meaning from this book. Okay. I see. Does anyone have another idea?
No, I think we should just go to the next
Okay.
question. That's it.
We'll try to next question.
Yeah. What did you think was interesting?
I think the most interesting thing is that when he comes to the university, many other students mistake her first. They recognize she is the mother of a student.
Oh, they thought she was the mother,
So
not the regular
because
student.
his age, she is too old to go to the university. I think.
Yeah, that was interesting. Did you know the meanings of all these ones in the book? On page 13? Maybe you can talk about those and how each of those has a different meaning. What does sweet mean? What does lame mean? What does awesome mean? And when would you use those? Or have you ever used those? Okay.
What's a bro?
Bro.
Yes.
It's mean brother.
Yeah?
The original
If it's a very
brother,
close friend.
original vocabulary is brother, but
Bro.
youngsters shorten that word. You just say bro.
All right. I think we're just about done. Did everybody get through all the 6 questions? Yes? Okay, so what were some of the things that you thought were the most interesting from this chapter? Number 6. You had a nice time talking about slang? Yeah? I heard a couple of slang words, and you guys were talking that included maybe a word that you probably don't want to use very much, like a word that you wouldn't use with a teacher. Okay, so...
We forgot something. It sucks. You can say that.
Yeah, you wouldn't say to your teacher, "This sucks." Okay, you wouldn't say that. Okay, there's a lot of words that you need to use in one setting and not in another setting. So you have to think about when to use slang. Okay, not just use it all the time. Hey, I learned a new word. I'm going to use it. Okay, think about where you use it. Don't use it all the time. Slang is usually very informal. So with your friends, in the dormitory, with Americans who are the same age as you. Okay. All right. Okay, so I saw lots of great discussion, and as you guys were going around, I saw some good leaders, and I think you guys are going to do well when you're the leader and keep the group going in discussion. So, good job. This project can be a lot of fun, and the students can get to know each other in a whole different way. I've had a lot of students tell me how much they've enjoyed this project in the past, so even if it doesn't work out well with this group, I know that there are a lot of students who will still benefit even if it isn't just the perfect way that I'd want it to be. I think there's a lot of skills that can be learned through this project.